So we are live now, or we are live soon. Momentarily. Oh, there's Zoom. This meeting is being live streamed. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
That was quite a packet for this meeting.
I know, it's kind of a book. We're putting a couple things off, and then we got a couple new things to take their place. So
Understandable, considering you're in the thick of this renovation.
yeah, well, we're in the you know, it's one of those things where it looks like you're going to be in the thick, but you realize that there's more land between here and the next peak. So we have a little breathing room. And what I like to do is when the deadline's been moved a little further down, is just relax and pretend it's not there and then panic again at the last minute. But now we're gonna keep plugging on here. Whew. So Kathleen has been coordinating everything on our end and getting everyone over there, and the entire, I should probably not say this to every single board member who comes in. I can say, wait till everyone's a group, but everyone's been doing such a great job. They've been just tremendous.
Great, good to hear. I'm not surprised. To hear.
I was just checking this. It's definitely good. The streaming is good.
Great.
Yeah, if you see a staff member, ask them how their back feels, or offer a massage. Or, well, no, don't do that. That's not copacetic anymore. But
Is the staff picking up the boxes of books?
Oh yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, soak time.
yeah, there's been a lot of Epsom salts and a
You
lot
know,
of
what's
moaning.
really good for stretching out your back is we have one dolly where apparently it comes apart if you pull too hard on it. And I was going up a step with it and pulled, and the thing came apart, and I just went flying backwards and landed on my back. And I thought, oh, this is going to be bad. But also I felt was a little popping thing of my spine adjusting. I'm like, oh, that felt great.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so a near miss. Yeah, we're trying to encourage people to, you know, not to make 2 trips or, you know, many more trips, and just
Safety first.
yeah.
So how far are you as of today?
So we've got
to the move.
all day tomorrow. We've got almost everything over there. I'd say 80% of the stuff over there, books and furniture. We've got a couple of pieces of furniture to move. And Kathleen, you would be the one to add, was it like 50% of the stuff on the shelves?
Possibly, approximately, but we've got almost 100% of the stuff there. So that was the big deal, and we're really cranking on shelving now. So you know, it's not easy, but I think we're gonna make it. Yeah.
I think that in speaking of someone who wasn't doing any of it, but I think that the hardest part of the shelving was getting to the shelves with all the boxes in the way. And now that you guys have cleared all
yeah, so we're kind of on the downhill. We've emptied enough boxes now that we can move in the building, and yeah. And I think that, you know, I hope that this is something that everybody just takes a lot of pride in, because it's a pretty big accomplishment, you know, when you step back a little bit. Yeah.
And you get to do it again in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out better ways around this now.
Yeah, we might.
But I bet all those boxes were labeled in a way that would make all librarians.
Yeah, Sally, our head of technical services, and
yeah,
came up with some really good labels for the boxes that told right where they go and right what was in it, and it was good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm still kind of afraid of jinxing it, and there have been a few stumbles, but touch wood, it's gone okay.
Good. I've been thinking about you all week.
Oh, thank you.
Like, do they need help? Probably have to sign a bajillion forms to do that.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Thank you.
Having helped clean out that building next door to 16.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That must have just been colossal. I kind of can't imagine that.
I was fortunate to find several kindergarten and elementary school teachers who helped empty out classrooms and find good homes. And Ellen Byrne runs a book organization, and she took all the books from the preschool library. So that was like 10,000 volumes.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it filled a room floor to ceiling. I walked in the room, I was like, I'm not packing this, because that was near the end. There was a last minute change in plan of who was going to take those books. But regardless of which plan we ended up following, they were all going to go to a good home. So that was the important thing.
We have our new board member.
Hello. Wow, all of a sudden.
Are we streaming yet?
We are live.
Okay.
We have a quorum.
Happy first day of fall.
Oh, isn't it great? It is a beautiful day out there. Hi, Edmund.
Hi.
Hey, Patrick.
Big smiles everywhere.
Oh. Aaron, hi.
Oh,
Did you say hi? I heard my name. And hi, Mark. Welcome.
Mark.
Mark Barnes is our soon-to-be newest board member. He's been appointed, not yet sworn in. He's kind enough to join us tonight.
terrific.
How was everybody's summer?
Quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see Patrick not in his car.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That was quite an experience of watching you on the virtual Zoom in the car, and I was glad you weren't driving too.
No, we at least planned that far.
I see a Blues jersey. Cindy, do you see that Blues jersey?
Hi,
Hi, Helen.
Hey, Helen.
Hey, Patrick. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Glad everything went well.
It went really well. Yeah.
Good. I haven't gotten anybody saying that they wouldn't be here. So let's wait just a minute.
Okay.
I know Stacy will need to leave early.
Yes.
He's going to join us by phone. So we're waiting on Aaron. I heard Jerry's voice, I thought.
Yeah.
He's
Jared,
here,
Here? Okay.
up on the top for me.
Let me check my phone. I don't know. I don't know if I heard back from Latrice. And then Helen, Mark Barnes is joining us. He's just been appointed to the board, has not yet been sworn in. Mark Barnes, this is the library board.
Welcome.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Thanks, everyone. Great to, I really appreciate this honor of being serving on the board. I really do. I look forward to working with you all.
Oh, we appreciate you joining us and helping us with this. This is great.
Yes. And Mark, as soon as you're sworn in, we'll give you a committee assignment.
Very cool.
I did hear back from Latrice, and she said she would be joining us.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wait just a moment for Latrice. And then
Edmund, how's that new grandbaby?
Oops, you're muted, Edmund.
You're muted.
Can I interject?
Edmund, you're on mute. There you go.
Helen, even though Latrice hasn't joined us yet, we could start the public hearing. I called out to order.
All right, let's do that. I'm calling the meeting of the University City Library Board to order. Are there comments from members of the public?
We have received none. Kathleen, can you check on YouTube to see if there's any public input there?
Sure.
Or you check Facebook, I'll check YouTube.
All right. Nothing on Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
And there are no comments on YouTube.
All right. In that case, Cindy, could I get you to call the roll? I know Latrice may be joining us later, but let's.
Okay, thank you. Edmund Acosta,
Here.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Here,
Aaron Ginsberg,
Here.
Gerald Lander,
Here?
Latrice is coming, Helen Nelling,
Here.
and I'm here, Cindy Zerwis, and our newest member, Mark Barnes.
Hey.
Here.
Has Stacy joined us by phone yet?
I have joined.
Oh, great, great. The first item is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
We would have to maybe give it a minute and then adjourn the public hearing.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm sorry, I think I did say public meeting before. What I meant was
did.
a public hearing on the
Public
tax
hearing,
rate.
yes, okay, public hearing is adjourned. The public meeting now commences. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the July meeting. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes from July?
This is the special meeting of July 29th.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion to
Move
approve?
to approve the minutes of July 29th.
Okay, a second?
second,
Can we can do this by voice vote, can't we?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved.
We then have the meetings from the special meeting of June 22nd.
Oh, that's right, because we didn't approve those in July. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Aaron? Okay,
I'd like to second Edmund's motion.
okay. Edmund motioned, Aaron seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Those minutes are approved. Patrick, do we have any correspondence?
We do. We also have the June 16th special
Oh my
meeting.
gosh.
Minutes, at which we just voted on the contract.
Okay. Are there any corrections to the minutes of June 16th?
And this is
No.
page 8 of your packet. And Latrice Johnson has joined us.
Oh, yay,
Hey,
Latrice.
Therese.
Good to have you with us. So there are no corrections to the minutes of June 16th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Second,
Second. Aaron seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved. Okay, Patrick, can we move to correspondence now, or do we have?
Yes, I think that's the extent
Minutes
of
from
minutes that we had.
1822.
We had a very nice note from Ms. Jean Merson regarding the Big Book Summer Read. She was very happy with the titles. Though she did suggest something more uplifting, a little more, I guess, optimistic next year.
Anything else?
And we did, as I mentioned, we received the one email from a gentleman who was not happy that we are circulating fishing rods. So I did thank him for his comments.
Wait, we're circulating fishing rods?
Yeah, we through the Department of Natural Resources of the state of Missouri, we have 5 fishing poles, rod reel combos that we've been circulating this summer.
And someone is unhappy with that?
Yes.
Was that a safety issue?
No, I think it's he believes that we're encouraging people to torture and kill sentient beings.
Fish.
Okay.
I see.
And we respect his beliefs, and but we also believe that, as Kathleen aptly put it, that we'd like to provide this opportunity to people in the community who might not have the opportunity otherwise. Children who might not be able to afford a fishing rod to even see if it's something that they would enjoy.
Good answer.
What's the demand for the fishing rods, Patrick?
They were all checked out.
Yep.
One was broken. So
Oh, wow.
Where's the closest place to fish?
I believe the at Forest Park or Creek Core Lake.
Okay.
Oh, Creekport Lake too.
Did you
sure,
encourage them to
Forest
make sure
Park,
they have a fishing license too?
We did not. Yeah, we hadn't done that.
Well,
We checked
they need one.
Kathleen.
This program sort of specifically leaves the library out of the loop on that piece. We're not required to enter into that discussion with the patron. Yeah.
Goodness, this is an opportunity for the library to sponsor a fishing. Show us a picture of your fish.
And we were briefly mentioned in an article from the Washington University sort of community paper.
Hey,
We
Latrice.
put in there about the donation of the study cubicles to the library. So that was nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other correspondence?
Not that I have on hand. So.
Okay. Let's move to Stacy's report because we know that Stacy has limited time.
Yes, thank you. And again, I apologize for having limited time and being on the phone, but I had something come up at work. But I did want to, I think the most pressing thing to summarize is the council had a retreat, which I mean is a euphemism for a long meeting, but we had basically on Saturday an all-day meeting, which is an opportunity for the council to dig deeper on a few select topics. And the topics that we discussed were the possibility of a quarter-cent sales tax to support fire and public fire ambulance operations. And I can take questions on any of these and I'll go over some in a bit more depth. A task force that that's addressing the third ward and the money that is being generated by the Costco development, and having a task force a part of the decision-making process and how those funds are spent. Social media communications was just more of a general update on what we do. Street renaming, is I think many on this commission are aware, there's a street renaming task force and panel to address some streets that are named after folks who were primarily involved in slavery and in other measures that subjugated African Americans. And we talked about the next step in that work. There was a lot of conversation about this because when we start to drill down, particularly like on Jackson, if you're going to rename a street, there is fairly significant impact to the people who reside on that street and the things that they have to do. And so we're trying to balance those folks' needs with some larger community desires to do something different with the names of folks, particularly Jackson. That's really the kind of the focal point of a lot of the energy. I'd like to say we came out with an answer, but we didn't. So we're going to be looking at it again. But just know that the council is thinking about all the implications of moving forward with addressing some of these street names.
But when you said that the community as a whole is for all these, has there been any public meetings so that members can say yay or nay to these? I mean, Jackson is one thing, but I'm sure there's a dozen others. But I have not heard anything about meetings to actually address this or talk about it.
So the Street Renaming Commission did come up with a list of actually several streets. I mean, streets like McKnight. I mean, they got down to streets were often named. A lot of these, street names that are persons' names are related to the property that the street cut through or the property that was taken to make the street. And at times these were, back then these were farms. And some of these farms had enslaved persons working on them. And so the Street Renaming Task Force came up with a number of streets that fall into that category. The council's really starting with Jackson because Jackson is the street that kind of, we got feedback from the community that was problematic because it's named after Stonewall Jackson. I mean, we all know Stonewall Jackson. So in terms of meetings, the next step is to look at meetings actually with the folks on Jackson. Because the Street Renaming Task Force, in some measure, was the voice of the community. It was people from different wards. It was racially diverse in other ways. But we do want to hear from the folks on Jackson because they are the ones that will have to carry the load should read an actual renaming, like the name is completely changed. So that's kind of the next step in this process is to communicate with those folks. So we still got some things to go. So to the point of public meetings, I imagine we will probably do something larger. But the first step is to meet with the folks on Jackson.
Yeah, but I think they better put it on there for the community at large, just so that it doesn't become some screaming thing at the council meeting when you guys make a decision.
Stacy?
Yeah, and yes.
Is the school board looking at anything? Because we have Jackson Park, which was named for the park that is now called Mooney Park.
Right. I think that the conversation that the mayor relayed from the school district is they're gonna work in tandem with us. They're trying not to get out ahead of us in our process because we kind of want the community to move together as we do this. So they're kind of waiting on us to put it simply as I understand it. But I've not had direct conversation with the school district.
Okay.
The other, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you what else you had on your list.
Yeah, quickly, code compliance, we talked about that, and just ramping up our efforts around dealing with houses and businesses that may be out of compliance, and in some conversation about the river to Pear, and really our stormwater task force and the work they're doing, and the need to perhaps enlist some on a contractual basis, a lobbyist or someone to help at the federal level, because just very quickly, the work we're doing with the Army Corps of Engineers and the river to Pear to help mitigate some of the flooding in U City. really is driven federally. Like we are, as a municipality, I mean, we're dealing with the Army Corps of Engineers, and so we may have to contract with someone to help us at the federal level, because things aren't going the way we had hoped, to be quite honest. So that's a quick summary of the retreat. I will say to the task force, to address the dollars flowing from the Costco. The council will be voting in an October meeting to create that task force, and so we'll have folks from all the wards, but I think it'll be predominantly third ward folks. And so there'll be more information about that, but looking forward to having that progress. And obviously, if you've been over in the Olive 170 area, you've seen all the buildings are down on the north side of the street that the land will be utilized for Costco, and the south side of the street as well. So very tangible progress is being made on that.
Wait a
front.
minute, isn't that one little strip center still there?
Yeah, Jeffrey Plaza. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's actually outside of the footprint of Costco.
Oh,
So the Costco that is being, the pad is being prepared for building. Jeffrey Plaza will be coming down eventually, but for right now it's remaining.
okay. Does anybody have any questions for Stacy?
I do not.
What's going on with the Delmar Harvard project?
That's a good question. I'm not actually checked in with that for probably a month or so. Patrick, I don't know if you've heard anything.
Yeah, Mr. Clay, I had heard from, I think, from Cliff Cross right before he left, that they were getting ready to do that in the coming months, that they are planning to start construction relatively soon.
Okay. Yeah, that would be the latest update I've had. I'm not, like I said, I'm not checked in a little bit.
Yeah, I will say that it did sound like the council had a lot of really good ideas on the street renaming, and as a resident who lives on Jackson, we'd be happy with a lot of the ideas that you guys have come up with. We like your idea of just rededicating it to to Mahalia Jackson or to Janet Jackson or Samuel L. Jackson, or we'd be happy to as a family to do the work to on our end if the council decided to go with a different name.
Yeah,
Just my 2 cents on that.
And I appreciate that. And to give a little context, rededication is essentially keeping the same name, but attributing it to a different person. That seems to be a way that potentially we can, remove the patina of it being named after Stonewall Jackson, but also potentially save some of the steps that the residents of Jackson would need to go to effectively live on a new street.
Well, I was here for
But
25
still up
years
in the air.
before I realized it wasn't named for Andrew Jackson.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
People didn't know that.
Well, I always thought it was, and then I read Isabella Wilkerson's Cast, and I almost would rather, I'm glad it's named after Stonewall, reading some of the stuff about Andrew.
yeah, I know neither was good.
Yeah, neither one was a.
Right.
Okay. All
All right.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Stacy? Okay. Thank you very much,
Thanks, Stacy.
Thank you.
Stacy. The next item of business is the librarian's report.
Yes, and we had mentioned, Helen, in our discussion, did you want to talk now about introduction of, Mr. Barnes. We have another board member joining us shortly. And then we wanted to talk about Dorothy.
Right.
Do you want to do
So-
that now, or do you want to do that at the end of the meeting?
No, let's go ahead and do that now. Mr. Barnes has left my screen.
He's there.
He's on
there?
ours.
Okay.
He's muted. Now he's unmuted.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Well, once again, we would like to welcome you and we know you're going to be official as soon as the city council meets, correct? Patrick?
I believe you just have to go to the city clerk.
We're past that part. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, the council voted.
Oh, good. Then you just need to see the city clerk and take your oath and pay your, what is it, $10,000-$20,000 that
Ellen.
25.
and if you would like to have me call you later, I'll tell you the two committee openings there are, and you get to choose because you're first.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yes, certainly. The most immediate thing is you can probably see that I'm here in uniform.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is I was mobilized on active duty for the Army to help with our response to COVID. And so I'm currently here at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. And I was mobilized on orders for 1 year. And my tour ends in January. And so that's where that's what I am here now. And at Fort Belvoir, I work for the headquarters of Regional Health Command Atlantic. And these are all of the medical facilities, Army medical treatment facilities that are east of the Mississippi. And so again, it's looking at testing and immunizing our soldiers and the beneficiaries at military facilities. But prior to that, I live in the second ward, and my kids have gone to Jackson Park and Brittany Woods, and we live near Heman Park. I've also volunteered with the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts with the troop at Jackson Park, and I've enjoyed that. And I also and in my civilian job, I work as a IT administrator for the Air Force at Scott Air Force Base. So that's sort of it.
Long commute.
Oh, I'm very fortunate that I take the Metrolink into Scott, and it gives me a great opportunity to read on
Well, no.
I read
You
the
said
newspaper.
the right thing.
Yeah, I read the newspaper on the way to work, and I read a book on the way home.
If President Biden has all Army members and all, I should not just Army, but all of the armed services vaccinated, you will be very busy in your job at Fort Belvoir.
Yeah, we're quite busy. Absolutely, it's been something since I got here in January with testing and the initial rollout of the vaccine, and in addition to that, we're providing some of our uniformed personnel to the public for those shot clinics you've probably seen, like at the one that was at the Edward Jones Dome.
Right.
So we provide uniformed personnel for that. And then very unfortunately for a number of our civilian hospitals that are in the South that are basically overrun with patients in intensive care wards. We've had to deploy a number of medical teams to help augment those folks at those civilian hospitals. So yeah, it's been very busy.
How often do you get home?
Every other month for about a weekend or so. I think for the major holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, I was home for a weekend and fly back. And I'm very fortunate in that my wife is, she has a good support system with her family there in U City and in surrounding St. Louis County. So they are able to help her out. My oldest is a junior at Loyola in New Orleans, and he came home during a hurricane, and he's back here. So he's being well taken care of. And my youngest is a junior at the SLU High. So it's not as if we have a lot of young kids at home that and she has to sort of carry that burden. But so
Well,
she's been
it's
able
still, it still can't be easy for her either, and we thank you both for your
Yeah.
service.
Mhm.
My
appreciate
daughter and her boyfriend in Brooklyn got their vaccinations from a clinic run by the military, and they were very impressed.
Thank you so much. But you know, I had these talking points that I was going to mention as an introduction, and I forgot all about them. So let me just tell you very briefly about my love for libraries.
Oh.
It began. I grew up in the city of St. Louis, in middle school. As a middle schooler at Turner Middle School, I had the opportunity to volunteer in our school library. So much so that, and it was a great, I got to water plants, but I also got to reshelve and learn about the Dewey Decimal System, but also get first crack at new books. And that was a big, and it was a great time. I'd spend my lunch hour there. I'd come in before class and then sometimes stay a little bit later after class, just spending time in his quiet. And it was a great, it was a wonderful opportunity. When I went to Sumner High School, I also continued to work in the library and volunteer my time in there. And so I just got this love of being in that library setting. And then fast forward going off to do the Army stuff, and then coming back to St. Louis to get married and have kids. And then when with my kids, having that opportunity to share with them and bring them to the library and go through all of the books, and check them out and read them, on my lap during bedtime and story time, and getting them library cards and just walking through that whole process. And as a Cub Scout leader, bringing our Cub Scouts to the library, talking about how we used to check out books and how we used to look up books in the past, showing them that card catalog there on the second floor, and then going down to the computer system on the first floor and showing them that whole process. And then showing them that the library it's more than just books. It is a community asset, and showing them the places where, the 3D printer, and Patrick gave us a great class on how to use a 3D printer. And again, just introducing them to that. And also as an older Scout leader and a merit badge counselor, this is a place where I have older Scouts to meet me for the merit badge classes or to go over their requirements, because it is a safe space where we can meet, and then the parents can come because they have to transport their kids, and they can go read or hang out. And it's like I said, it's a safe, open space where we can collaborate and I can teach. And then for a larger group, we go up to the classrooms and have that safe space. So, and when I had this opportunity to serve on the board, I was excited. again, to share my love of the library and this wonderful asset here in University City. We're very fortunate. We really are to have this really this jewel of a resource here in our community. I'm just really happy to be part of it.
We must agree with you wholeheartely. Kathleen, did you hear him say he knows how to shelve? He knows.
They're so far away.
Yeah.
But you said your tour of duty's over in January, yes? So I'm putting that on my calendar.
Yeah, we'll probably be moving back into the building or maybe already be in the building.
Mark,
Very,
excuse me. Mark. Hey,
very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. Mark, I didn't recognize you because I haven't seen you in about 10 years and you look even younger than you've ever looked.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I appreciate that.
Tell Patricia hello for us, okay?
I certainly will.
Since we're not together, could I ask people to just say 1 or 2 sentences so Mr. Barnes can learn a little about us and whether we're staff or board members? Kathleen, let's start with you.
Oh, sure. Hi, Mr. Barnes. It's great to meet you. I'm Kathleen Gallagher. I'm the assistant director here at the library, and I joined the library in 2008, and I love being here.
Okay. Patrick, he probably knows you, but
Yeah, he was my kid's scoutmaster, and Jocelyn Barnes was on the Memorial Day Run Committee for forever, long time. And was so happy that you were able to join us.
Thank you.
Cindy? Cindy's her.
Hi, Mark. Mark and I know each other from Boy Scouts because I have 2 Eagle Scouts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I've had the pleasure of working with him on some Scout events in the past, and I'm thrilled that you're joining the board. So thank you for your time.
It's always a pleasure, Cindy. Thank you so much.
Cindy Dykeman?
Hi, Mr. Barnes. I'm the office manager here at the library. And so I attend the board meetings to do the minutes. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Edmund, I think they know you know each other.
We've known each other, and yes, and my brand new granddaughter is a card holder already. She's 5 months old, and she's already picked out a whole bunch of books.
Joan?
I'm Joan Greco Cohen. I have no idea how long I've been on the board. I don't know. My second, third tour, I have no idea. During the day, I work in the finance department of a local liquor wholesaler. When I moved into U City from Webster, the first place I went was the library and my library card, and it's like a second home to me. So,
Aaron?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Mark, my name is Erin. I am a retired public school librarian, and I joined this public library board in 2016, I think. It's great.
Time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful group of book loving people. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
Jerry?
I'm a retired physician teacher. I was on the school board for 10 years. I was a Boy Scout at Jackson Park. Was an Eagle Scout there. More years than I want to tell you about. Go, I should say.
Latrice?
Hi, Latrice Johnson. I guess I don't know how long I've been on the board.
Latrice, I think you're the longest serving member right now.
Right now, okay. And then I work for I work for Walgreens as a traveling manager, do a lot of different projects, and that's about it.
Thank you.
I'm Helen. When I joined the board, it was like all my goals had been fulfilled. I couldn't imagine anything better than being on the library board. I'm a retired human resources executive, and this is just the best thing ever. And I absolutely agree with Erin. You're going to enjoy this group. We're lovely people, and we all pretty much pull in the same direction.
And it's even more fun when we're all together.
That's right. That's right. And there's usually food when we're together. I wanted to talk a little bit about honoring Dorothy Davis, who recently retired from the board after she has served all the time that she could. And she served as our president, and she was the guiding light for the bond issue that enabled us to do what we're going to talk about in great depth in a minute. Patrick has purchased a gift for her, and I'm wondering if 2 or 3 of you would like to be an ad hoc committee to discuss how best we can honor her with maybe an event before it gets cold, so we can do it outside or something like that. Would anyone like to?
Yeah, I'll step up on that. I mean, Dorothy was on the board when I first came on, and she was a huge help to me because I had never served on a board before. And, you know, she really was the driving force behind, and she motivated everybody on that tax increase for us. So I would be happy to be on that committee. I mean, I'd be happy to offer my front yard if you want to do it outside. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what the grounds at the library are going to be like or whatever, but I would jump on that. I would jump on that committee if we could work something out.
Can I get 2 more volunteers? Cindy?
I was going to ask a question, big surprise. How have we honored people in the past who have had 2 or 3 terms on the board?
Well,
and what would be appropriate?
At their last board meeting, when we were able to meet in the boardroom at the library, we would all bring food in, we would generally bring drink in, and we would have our board meeting. And then afterwards, we would all just stay in the boardroom and visit. And there's a gift, and we take pictures, and we just visit there. I don't know if is the new facility have some place that we could have an in-person board meeting and a party afterwards.
Yep, Cindy, maybe like on the 3rd floor of UUM, 2nd floor of UUM or something like that.
Oh, you can always find space to
I mean, I'm assuming we
have
can't
a
use
gathering.
can we use the boardroom at the library?
For a little bit, yeah.
Define a little while.
And we'll talk about the schedule, but yeah, you know, into 2022, at the beginning of 2022.
So could we do it after a board meeting in October, or no, maybe November?
Yeah, if the board is comfortable meeting, you know, we're still doing like a mask mandate for all staff and visitors. If you're comfortable doing it like that.
But remember, we won't be occupying the building, so there won't be other people in the building.
Yeah, I mean, we could be out in the main area or something.
Perhaps
they're going to start. I guess they are going to start.
Can we take this offline then?
Yeah.
Could
We'll put the committee together and work on that.
Would 2 people raise their hand and say they'll help? Edmund is going to help.
Sure.
And obviously Patrick has to help too. So
yes,
okay,
please.
and I'll help.
Okay.
I'd be glad to volunteer. When I was president of the board, Dorothy was the vice president, and boy, she was a terrific person to be right there to make it all happen.
Okay. Okay. The next issue is, well, now we're going to have the consent agenda. Does everyone agree with the consent agenda? Do we have any additions?
I would like to make a move that we accept the consent agenda,
Second,
approve.
Okay. Is there any discussion? No? Okay. All in favor of accepting the consent agenda?
Aye.
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 yes,
Opposed? The consent agenda is accepted. Oh, Patrick, I sort of skipped over librarian's report because most of your report is in the consent agenda.
That's
So-
exactly right, yeah. And then do you want to move on to the discussion items then? I'm sorry, did
Sure.
we?
Or whatever else, is there anything else you want to talk about besides the stuff in the
No, I
discussion?
think we got pretty much everything else we discussed.
Okay.
Scheduled for later. Okay. So on to the discussion, building renovation schedule.
Do you want to knock out the consortium grant first?
Oh, well, that's all part of the consent agenda.
Yeah, okay.
That was all in there. I don't think there's anything in there, that really needs to be discussed other than the nice news that the unfunded liability for the pension fund decreased this year for the first time in a while. So we were happy to hear that.
And didn't we not receive a grant?
We received so many grants recently. It's been great. The staff has done a wonderful job of applying for grants and managing them.
There was an RAFD.
The RFID grant was one that that Krista put together for the MLC, and it ended up not being one that we're part of.
Okay.
Because we've already got the RFID system in place here, and we chose a different vendor than the MLC chose. So, while some of the equipment would be compatible, we'd spend more in kind of ongoing maintenance on the, on their chosen vendor's equipment. It'd be cheaper just for us to buy on our own some additional equipment, which is what we'll probably be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what everybody wants to hear about is the move.
Yeah. The move is going. We've got on Tuesday we got our new phone system up and almost running. We found out today that pretty much we were supposed to have like 3 lines over there and 2 lines over here. We have no lines over here, including our alarm. So we've we're working with the alarm company on that. We closed on Monday, September 20th, and then we've gotten most of the collection that we're going to have at 6900 Delmar is there and is being shelved right now. Kathleen has been coordinating everything on our end, and then getting staff over at 6900 to reshelve the items. She's done a phenomenal job, and as I think she would say if I would stop and let her speak, that the rest of the staff has just been doing a phenomenal job too. I think Jeffrey, one of our younger staff members, who's basically running up and down the ramp with dollies full of books, and Steve and Dallas has put together all the shelving over there. Bill's put together all the IT over there. Kara, I probably shouldn't list every single person, but every single one of them is just doing a great job. We really appreciate all they've been doing. And I'm gonna pull up.
We reopen on
We'll reopen Friday.
Friday?
There may be a couple of things that won't be 100% over there. We'll be moving. I think we'll be adjusting the collections as we go. We've got some furniture to take over there. We have a couple of issues with the building, nothing major, but I mean, we've got a couple of locks we have to put in place, and Dallas is switching out some doorknobs so that we can lock like the IT room. But we should be ready to go on Friday. And then
With
we'll
the
be
computer, with the computers as well. I mean, with the technology and the computers and the everything over there will be up and running.
Yes, we've got 3 public computers for adults, 2 for children. Those are all working. The staff computers are over there, and Bill believes they're all working. He also has a point-to-point bridge between 6900 and UUM, so we're ready to go over there. He's got the network set up. Kathleen arranged to have the new copier taken over to 6900. That's there. Whether or not it's working, I don't know. There were a couple of issues.
It's working. We need one more tech stop by from the company to hook up the coin up, but the machine is working, and Bill is able to print, so people can send jobs to the printer now. That's done. So
We plan to change the, we've been doing up to $5 worth of, it was supposed to be up to $5 worth of printing per week per person, free during the pandemic. That never really worked as planned because we have no way of keeping track of what you printed yesterday or the day before. So we're going to go to $1 a day of printing for free over at 6900, unless the board, has a problem with that. We can adjust, but that seems to be sort of a more equitable way to do it, and a little easier on staff. And then additionally, I think Bill has got the fax, the public fax scanner ready to go. And yeah, pretty much all the technology is up and running. We've got
there will be curbside.
Yeah, we're planning on doing curbside in the little half circle drive there at the front of the building.
Also, there's more parking than we had initially anticipated because UUM is not using the property.
We're both sides of the equation there.
Yeah.
And when do we really start on our regular building?
That is a great question. On the scheduling, the schedule we have in the packet on page 3, the schedule for the move is on schedule. The schedule for phase 1, the exterior of the building, they'll begin demolishing the window heaters and the floors and ceilings at the entrances, beginning when the library's closed. So that'll start next Monday. The windows and doors have been ordered. We've been told they'll be here from mid to late November. October. And then the phase 2 schedule as of this morning has changed. We met with Bond. I'm going to share the screen here. Let me just get out of here for just a sec because it is not on the documents I've got up here. All right.
Patrick, are you talking about the new construction schedule from Bond? That short thing? I believe I have it. Should I share my screen?
That would be great because I can't seem to find it. I thought I had it here.
While Kathleen's pulling that up, it's important for us to look at the time that we're going to send out bids. And have the walkthrough from the prospective bidders. And
yeah,
then
that schedule has also changed.
Yeah, and when we will sit down with Bond and look at their recommendations for the successful bidder. So there, I have a schedule here that apparently is no good. So
yes, that one just this morning
just went out the window.
I'm going to go ahead and just read from the email. So they're saying phase 1 substantially complete by November 30th. Phase 2 demolition to begin in October 15th. So they've sort of broken it out into a phase 2A, and that's going to be demolition and hazardous material abatement, and that'll start in October. The bids will be due. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Out to bid October 15th. Bids due on October 29th, and approval at the November 10th meeting. So instead of approving the whole project, we'll be approving. We'll be asking the board to approve a smaller portion of that. It'll be the price point at that was slightly over $1 million. And that'll be at the November 10th board meeting. They hope to begin asbestos removal December 6th and have that completed by the end of December. And then demolition to begin on December 27th and be completed by January 24th. And then begin the major part of the portion, have that out to bid January 12th. Bids due early February, and then bids to be awarded at the February 2022 library board meeting.
Can you send us a copy of that sometime, Patrick?
Yeah, I just received that this afternoon, and I will send that right out to you as soon as this
Thank
meeting is
you.
over. Additionally, they sent us a revised estimate, which is, so the bad news is the delay. The good news was that they revised the cost estimates. Oh,
There it is.
So
Okay.
sorry that took so long.
So if, is October the 15th the date for the walkthrough, in case anyone's interested?
October 15th is when they'll be sending the documents out to bid.
Okay, so when would a
Yes, so
walkthrough?
they'll set a date right around then to have.
All right, so rather than sending this out to everybody now, why don't we wait until that date is inserted? So people who want to come to the walkthrough will know what date that is.
Okay.
Okay, and
You're probably right. I think on the other, they did do it essentially the
that
same
day,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also want a day to sit down with Bond to get their recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, sometime
Or-
between the 29th and the 10th.
And the 10th, yeah.
We'll have to hear that on the first phase, Helen, I think.
right, right.
They'll need a good week or so probably to look at that and decide.
Uh-huh. Well, but we don't need much time before the 10th. But it's at some point, those who are interested can come and listen to Bond talk about why they think, Susie Cream Cheese Construction is the correct company to go with.
And those are important meetings to get to if anybody can do it, just to hear.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes there'll only be one bid, but other times there's 5 bids and the lowest bid doesn't win for some reason. And it's
Mhm.
nice to hear them explain why.
Okay. So Patrick's going to add a couple of dates in there and send this out to everybody.
Okay.
Patrick, you were going to talk a little bit about meeting with the interiors people and re-looking at the color palette.
We were, that was our plan. We were not able to get a meeting with Bond and the team here at the library, Aaron, Dallas, Sally, and Kara. We just hadn't been able to get a meeting with Bond to sort of narrow things down. So we're planning on bringing that to the board at the October meeting.
Okay. Okay. Anything else on the construction that we want to discuss?
Yes, I wanted to bring up the, if I can do this one. Oh, there it is. That's why I'm having trouble with this, because it didn't come up as a separate thing. Okay, so the revised cost estimate for the project, we won't go into in detail, but I will send that out to everybody. So they have got the total project for phase 2 at $6,573,000 as their estimate now, which is substantially lower than, it's about $1.6 million lower than the last cost estimate, and it does have some of the items added that we had talked about before.
Wow.
So
That never happens.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this. It brings it back into what I'd like to think of as an affordable for us with the financing available. It won't put it'll of course put a strain on the library, but it should be more affordable for us in the long run. So we're hoping that that holds steady and that, that we're able to get a good, we moved it out to, financing in February. So, the bond rates the interest rates could shoot up or something. One never knows. But we're hoping that this will still be a workable solution for us. On another note, Clifford Cross, head of community development for University City, who we've been working with below these many years. We've been talking about this and who's been very, very happy to work with us on all the issues, has left the city. They'll be looking for a new head of community development. So we're hopeful that, that we'll be able to move forward with this without too many issues.
I have one quick question about the bidding process. Have the architects been involved with various companies to give them an idea what the bids will be for? So, I mean, I know construction companies get delayed and aren't going to be ready to go to work the next week, if it's a big project. So, I mean, they've got to know that there's time limits and stuff. And I just wondered whether they have informed, I don't know, all the different types of companies that we'll need to do that.
Well, and I think that's one of the things, like on phase one, that we'll be getting is like an estimated time of completion. They'll have some benchmarks, some milestones rather in there that they expect the contractor to meet, and the contractor will come back with what they estimate will be the time of completion. That being said, the bond did say this morning that sort of a manpower shortage and delays are sort of.
Well, that's what I was concerned at, because I certainly know there've been great delays in the building industry and all these sorts of things. So
we're 2 months behind on our 2-month project now. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that's just going to be a feature of it. We're going to work with our current landlords, and both properties are on the market. So hopefully we'll be able to work with any buyers on that about extending the lease if possible. I know we talked about it with both our current landlords, and I think they've agreed that if they still own the building, that won't be a problem. But we'll have to deal with the other, the new owners, should there be new owners.
Has anyone ever seen, what's that Tom Hanks movie? But the Money Pit, yeah. 2 weeks.
It won't be quite that bad.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest that we move the financial reports down to the action items, because we're going to have some things to approve. Patrick, do you want to talk about any meetings and conferences or anything else?
We've got a couple of people going to the Missouri Library Association conference. Kathleen has been to the Wolfner Advisory Council at the end of August. Was that in person, Kathleen, or was that that was a Zoom meeting, wasn't it?
No, it was definitely Zoom. Yes.
Yeah, when I went to the Secretary of State's Library Council meeting, they also at the last minute changed it to a Zoom meeting. So there haven't been a whole lot of in-person, meetings. That it looked like for a while, we had planned on having this one and some of, our meetings in person. We had the June meetings in person, but things are what they are. So we're all looking forward to the day when we can start going to meetings and conferences again.
And having parties for our former members.
Yes.
Okay. Moving to action.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. We just have a meeting scheduled with Bond and with the low voltage team for the new alarm system, the phone system, security cameras in the building and the like. And then we've got a meeting scheduled for hardware and also for furnishing. Some meetings coming up.
Okay, under discussion items. We've really been through that.
Mhm.
So let's move to the adoption of the resolution regarding the setting of tax rates. And I believe Patrick sent out a revised
Yes. So it not
resolution.
in your packet, and I'll put this one up now. I'm sorry. I've got that one here.
Okay, so this went out this,
Let's see if I can do this.
nothing to say.
That's not the right one.
We're gonna see everything.
Yeah, we probably are.
There it is.
Well, that's the memorandum setting the rates.
Yeah.
We
It's
need to be
another one.
looking at the resolution.
I think
there was
it's
a
right
resolution-
before, it's right before that on the same email for us.
There was a resolution that Patrick sent out, but then it was revised. So we're going to look at resolution 2021-02.
So I'm going to bring this up for a minute and then there it is, because it's a Word document. That's why I was not finding it there. So this is the resolution, a resolution ordering the levy and fixing the rate of property taxes to be collected in the University City Public Library District for the year 2021 to provide for general revenue. And then the main part for general revenue purposes, a tax of 0.3500 on residential property, a tax of 0.3450 on commercial property, and a tax of 0.4000 on personal property on each $100 of assessed valuation.
Okay, so
You need a
that-
motion?
Patrick did send this out actually today, didn't you?
Yes, I got the
Right, today.
revised figures from
Yeah.
Keith Cole, the finance director of University City today.
Right.
He's put together a pro forma sheet for that. He'll send the pro forma in. The library board will be responsible for sending in this resolution signed by the library board president and the library board secretary.
Okay, but first we have to adopt it.
Yes.
So
Move approval of this
All right,
resolution 2021-02.
and the second was from Aaron,
Me.
is that correct?
Joan?
Joan, okay. I think for this, we need a roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, can I ask a question, before we vote, can I ask a
Yeah.
question? How much of a change is this from last year's tax rate?
It is a slight
If any.
reduction because of the increase in assessed valuation throughout University City. And it allows a slight increase in overall collection based on the consumer price index increase.
Thank you.
Okay, Cindy, would you like to do a roll call?
Sure. Sure. Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Latrice Johnson,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
Aye,
and Cindy Zerwas, aye.
okay. The motion passes. And Patrick, offline, you can arrange for Aaron and I to sign the resolution.
Yes.
Okay. The next action.
I think it's going to be Cindy and.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cindy. Aaron's the treasurer. She's the money lady.
So I did get that around last time when you did signatures.
The next item is the approval of the 2021 library budget amendments. Can you put those up on the screen?
I can. Go. So pretty much every line, because of the way things went with COVID, is to be amended this year. and I can explain as best I can any of the individual lines. The overall would be revenue totals to be amended to $2,811,031, and the expense totals to $2,200,871.12. With the $610,159.88 rolling into our reserves, though we will be spending that presumably on the building project.
Okay. Are there specific areas that you think we should look at?
There was nothing.
You'll notice that both the revenue is pretty flat against actuals. The amended estimate is pretty flat against actuals. The expense totals is also pretty flat against actual.
Yeah, some of them were significant on the expense totals. You're right. The revenue totals were mostly within real property current was lower than expected, but some of the other tax revenue were higher.
What drove the difference in expenses?
A variety of things. Medical insurance, I would say, would be either a miscalculation on my part or an addition of a staff member or a change in categories for that. Social Security is driven by the change in the salaries. The salaries part-time, we just did not fill all the positions because of COVID. So if people left, we mostly left positions unfilled because we had sort of a lighter demand during a lot of COVID. Overtime was a big decrease because we were closed for so many weeks on Sundays.
Does anyone have any questions about this?
I have one question. With respect to reserves, can you help me understand? And first of all, 2.8 million is really rarefied country for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be just crawling along and trying to figure out some of the implications of 2.8. But with respect to reserves, what is the impact on reserves? I heard you say that we're going to use reserves for the project.
Yes, we have some goals in mind for both our operating reserves and our building reserves that the board has discussed in the past, and I think we'll want to revisit those in light of the pending renovation. So building reserves can come down a little. We still want to keep about half a year's operating revenue in reserve. But this would go a long way towards that. But right now, I think it would be better. The library would be better served by spending this on phase one and going into phase two to reduce the amount of money we have to borrow. And the reserves are coming out primarily if you go down to line 8001 and line 9050. It's almost $500,000 there that we had put in those lines to spend on the building project that was then delayed by COVID.
So we're making use of some of the reserves for things we have anticipated. We're not drawing those reserves down to zero. Either one of them.
No, we won't draw those down totally. But I'll get you the figures on what's currently in the reserve. You can get an idea looking at
putting those reserves to good use.
Sorry, sir.
We're putting those reserves on hand to good use.
Yeah, I think, like I said, using that as part of the renovation project would be the best use right now, and then build them up as we go forward.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Are there other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve these amendments? Second? Okay, Cindy, I think this is a roll call too.
Okay. Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Yes.
Latrice Johnson,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
Yes,
and Cindy Zerwas, yes.
okay. The motion passes and the budget amendments are approved. We have.
Helen,
Yes.
who made the original motion there? I know Cindy seconded it.
I did. Edmund.
Okay,
Edmund.
thank you, Edmund.
Mhm.
We have 3 payment requests. One from RG Ross, who is doing phase 1, and then approval of an invoice for bond, I'm sorry, 2 payment requests, and then approval of the contract with bond. So the RG Ross invoice, Patrick, is
It's $55,026.45 for the work performed on the exterior of the building.
are they done?
They are mostly done. They're waiting on a second color of stone patching that we requested because there's some variety in the color of the stones. The one that they've got matches really well. They're getting another one that'll match some of the slightly different colored stone. And they're going to try where they're staining at the Del Mar entrance above the entrance, which is about the worst place to have permanently stained stone. They're going to try raking that out and filling it with the patching material and see if that will work.
Okay.
They've got that to do. And Kathleen, are there any other items that that Harambe is going to be doing on there? I think they're done with the ceiling for the most part, except for the parts that they're going to seal after they do these last repairs. There's something by the back, by the staff entrance, a big chunk of stone had broken loose. They're going to do that. And I think that's about it. Harambe's
I think so.
done.
Okay.
Building looks great.
It really looks so nice, the different shades and all cleaned up. I think it looks good. If you get a chance to come by, if you haven't recently, it's I think worth a look. So their payment request is $55,026.45, and this was countersigned by Bond Architects. They approved that.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve payment of this invoice?
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion.
I'd like
to
to
approve
second.
the invoice.
Can we just do this by voice vote, do you think?
I think we've been advised that we've got to do most of the motions. by
Okay, all right,
voice
Cindy.
vote, since we're in Zoom.
Here we
To
go. Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Yes.
Latrice Johnson,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
Yes,
and Cindy Zerwas, yes.
the motion to pay RG Ross's invoice is approved. The next item is approval of an invoice from Bond.
And this is actually 2 invoices found on pages 78 through 81 of your packet. The total amount is $44,113.86, of which the bulk is for phase 2, planning for phase 2, and then the smaller invoices for phase 1.
Okay,
I make
Are
a
there any
motion to
questions
accept
about
both of
these?
the bond invoices.
I
Second.
beg your pardon. You made a
So I'm
motion,
making a
Joan made a
motion.
motion,
Accept both the
Aaron
bond
seconded.
invoices.
Second.
Aaron seconded the motion. Okay, Cindy,
Edmund Acosta,
Aye.
Joan Greco Cohen,
Yes.
Aaron Ginsberg,
Yes.
Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Latrice Johnson,
Yes.
Helen Nelling,
yes.
and Cindy Zerwas, yes.
Okay, the motion carries. We've approved the invoice from the 2 invoices from Bond Architects. The last action item is the approval of the contract with Bond. Since we already have a contract with Bond, Patrick, do you want to explain this? Is this phase 2?
This is phase 2, sort of added. I tell you some of the things that we had not gotten to in the first one, but some stuff that was.
Do we have a copy of this, Patrick, in the minute,
It was not in the original packet. I neglected to send it along. I apologize. I sent that.
He
with-
sent it, he sent it yesterday.
And I've not yet heard back from our attorneys on this one. So
Should we,
I would suggest we pull this till they
table it to the
approve it.
October meeting?
Yeah.
I mean, I think until the attorneys look at this, I would be very hesitant to approve it. I mean, it may be perfect, but
I agree.
That's what I was going to recommend. Either, yeah. That's
So
it.
do we need a
Okay.
motion for that?
So I think to table, yes, I guess we do.
I would
I make
move
a
that we
motion that
table this. I would move that we sorry, you want to do it, Cindy? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Please go ahead and I'll second you.
Oh, I was just gonna move that we table this contract until the attorneys have a chance to look at it and we do it at our next meeting.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Okay, Cindy, last time tonight.
Edmund Acosta,
Aye, for the final time.
Joan Greco Cohen, Aaron Ginsberg, Gerald Lander,
Aye.
Latrice Johnson,
Aye.
Helen Nelling,
Aye.
and Cindy Zerwas, yes.
Okay. And Patrick, if you would be so kind, after the attorneys have looked through it, to let us know in an email so that we'll know the next meeting, it can just sail through
Okay.
as,
Yeah.
if amended as necessary. The next item of business is my report, and I don't really have a report except to ask the committees to meet again. You notice in the agenda, and I've got the architect's report up and not the agenda. We've got we have some committees scheduled to meet. The long range planning has scheduled, personnel and policy has been scheduled. And so has budget and finance and building and grounds need to schedule.
We
There's
just had a meeting in August.
Yeah, but I think building and I think we're looking at a meeting for phase 2. So that would be the meeting, originally it would have been October the 5th because of the bids going out, but that's been delayed a little bit.
Yes.
So we can call that the discussion with Bond about the bids, the building and grounds meeting, if you'd like.
The meeting with Bond as part of the building and grounds meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Helen.
Okay. I have a request of the Personnel and Policy Committee. Patrick is getting together a schedule of the when policies have been revised. And I'd like the committee to look at redeveloping a schedule so that we look at policies every year, every 2 years on some kind of a regular schedule.
And that this is something that Kathleen also had wanted to do. So that's.
Yeah, okay. And one other thing I should have included in the president's report is I have listened to, or both of the Better Library Board presentations that Patrick sent out, and we're in pretty good shape. And the presentation was developed for teeny tiny libraries in Iowa. But the one thing that did come up was continuing education for board members. So Patrick and I are going to talk about whether we can have that as part of our board meetings. I don't want you to have to go to class for a day out of your busy schedules, but perhaps we can have small educational portions of the board meeting so that we can be on our toes with governance. Okay. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Okay. The meeting is adjourned.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you very much.
Well,
I think
I
we'll
look
tell
forward
Mark
to
that
seeing
all
you
our
in
meetings don't
person.
last quite this long, but with all the renovation and business that we have to do with this renovation, it takes a lot of time and.
Yeah.
um,
We usually knock it out in about an hour, don't we, Jerry?
Yep.
Or less.
We have good people running that. We have good people running this meeting, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You all very much. You have a wonderful evening.
Stay safe.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Thank
stop
you.
the recording.
Bye.